Welcome to the Any Spartan Show. On this episode, we catch up with Lauren Casavant of PursuEVENTures. We last spoke to Lauren all the way back on episode 13. So we take 20 minutes and we catch up with what she's been up to and what she's got planned. Enjoy the show. Welcome back to the Any Spartan Show, Lauren.
Thanks for having me, Paul.
So this is episode 66, and long-time listeners, and back then even watchers when we used to do this via video, will remember that Lauren has been on before. Lauren was on episode, I think I said episode 13.
That sounds about right.
Which was a long time ago. Episode 13. Lucky 13. So for those who don't know you, why don't we do a quick introduction? So why don't you tell us who you are and what it is you're up to in the OCR space?
All right. So I'm Lauren. If you haven't met me or followed it before, I started a company in July of 2016 that focused on kids OCR specifically. We've hosted a few events since then, and we've been working hard in the last year to really define and grasp inclusion in our events, which allows adults to enjoy it almost as much as the kids do.
And the company is PursuEVENTures, is that right?
That's right. That's us.
I can never spell it right.
Me, calling on the phone is always the worst, trying to tell people who we are. Even I backtrack, I'm not really sure. So it's always easier to see it, I think, than say it.
It makes sense when you see it. Now,
I think so.
I think when we last spoke, I think you were either about to set up the kids course for Fit Challenge, or you were about to do the dedicated race you did at Wachusett. I forget what time frame we were talking in. So why don't let's talk a bit about what you have already achieved. Like what is your race brand? Obviously kids focused, and I think right now there's not a lot of that goes on in the OCR, or not enough of that goes on in the OCR space.
It seems like everyone's getting a little better. I guess what we're trying to include we're losing the separation. So a lot of times you see that some events are hosting kids races, but it's totally separate. Yeah. So we're trying to take away that feeling of the separation. So we've brought together the idea of small and tall and easy and hard all together on one course. So mom, dad, kids, and maybe just kids can tackle a course with different options of obstacle intensity. And that will allow them to try something new and to try something different, but it also allows for different levels to participate together.
And to be clear, you're not doing what a lot of races do when it comes to, hey, we'll put on a kids race, which is a few inflatables, a hay bale, and that's it. You're building, like you say, tall and small versions of the real obstacles, or the real obstacles themselves, right?
Oh, definitely. Yep. So we have no inflatables. I will never own an inflatable unless it's one of those waving guys on the side of the road. We have rigs. We have, the big tall walls, we have ropes, we have Tarzan swings. We're basically replicating what other races have done, and giving rightful dues where they're owed. But we're trying to bring it to scale for someone who may be a little bit smaller, kid status, to enjoy it.
Now, my favorite one, or I think my son's favorite one, when was it maybe 2016, late summer, when you held a race at Wachusett, you had the rec bag handbells, the kettlebell version of a rec bag for the kids to carry.
Yes.
Which my at the time, I think he was probably still 7. He picked up the heaviest one, not realizing that the heaviest one was probably half his own body weight. Got about 10 yards before he went back and picked up the lightest 5-pound one. So there's something for everyone in this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. We went ahead and we did a deal with rec bags, so we do have those back. We have the
nice.
5, 10, and 15-pound little luggage carriers that you've seen. We've got the 20-pound ones, and then if you're along for the ride with your kid and you want a challenge, we're going to put some logs out there for you so that you can enjoy it as well.
Very, very cool.
So it's a little bit of everything.
Now, you've also held or put on races alongside full-size obstacle races like Fit Challenge. Is that something that you're going to do more of? Or are you looking right now for more standalone, kind of your own branding, your own thing?
So that was what we tried to decide. The own branding thing really stuck out to me.
Yeah.
A lot of local OCRs and a lot of races are coming even closer to us here in Central Mass that we haven't had before. And that's like a no compete. And to stand alongside them is great. Working with them is nothing shy of an incredible experience. But to create a brand for ourselves so that people see it, know what they're getting is important this year to us.
So I know we also came out to a race you did at Carter and Stevens Farm. I know it was a winter race and it was an unseasonably warm day. So it was more like a mud slog than it was snow.
It was an early mud race, that's for sure.
That was awesome, though. My son had such a good time there. Even though it was freezing and muddy, he had a blast.
That was a lot of fun. We used that event almost as just a trial event for that. A trial event for the season. It's a hard season for us to get into, but it's nice because it's untouchable. The wintertime is tough at the house. Like, what are you doing? How do you get outside, and how do you know what you're going to get out of an event that you're actually bundling up for?
Yeah.
So we are going back to Carter and Stevens. We did solidify that as our second event in our race series. And, I love working with Phil. I love working up at the farm. They have a lot of great bigger venues that come there, and it's just a good experience for everyone, I think. Yeah,
I mean, they've obviously hosted some of the biggest races, on the market, and they clearly know what they're doing. They clearly know how to host a company that's coming in. So you mentioned it was the second race in your series, but let's kind of focus on this series. So 2018's right around the corner. I know a lot of people are ramping up for 2018. We'll talk in a moment about Race Local for 2018, but let's talk about your plans for PursuEVENTures. What is next in your series? Tell us about the series.
Absolutely. So our series starts on New Year's Day. We're out in Lancaster. What we did was we focused on maybe smaller venues that people haven't been to before. So we focused on farms this year. We're going to do an early series at Callanan Farms, 2 miles, 20 obstacles, all inclusive. So like we talked about, the short, the tall, the hard, the easy. With the same idea of just bringing in the community. We follow that up with the Carter and Stevens event, and then forward pushing. We would hope that by the end, within the next month, we'll be able to give you 2 more venues where this series will kind of finish out as the summer continues on.
Okay.
And this will give people a chance to run this all year long.
So you're looking at 4 races through the season?
4 races through the season.
Very
we want to try to hit farms when they're, not their working time. So once we get to, summertime, we don't want to impede on what they're trying to do there. So we're trying to hit that early, and then, some nice foliage would be a good push.
Give everyone the summer off when the calendar gets busy for everybody else's racing.
Absolutely.
Okay. And you mentioned it's a couple of miles, so you're not looking to do endurance races for the kids or anything like that. It's a couple of miles and a bunch of obstacles. What sort of obstacles are you setting up?
So we are setting up a rig this year. We have a 4-lane rig, so we've got everything. Just trying to make it a little bit more inclusive. What we'll do is you'll find as you come to the series is that from left to right, it will run from small to tall or easy to harder. So still bringing in that option to try different obstacles. If you go for the shorter wall on your first try, but you want to try the big 8-foot wall the second try, you can do that.
Yep.
We're trying to definitely push that there's something for everybody, and everything is I don't want to say okay, but everything is going to be okay. Like you're going to accomplish what you came out to do at our event.
Sure. So you mentioning kids, do you have a specific age range you're targeting? Or I guess what age brackets is this going to be appropriate for?
So we're targeting from 6 to 15. That would be with no assistance. So their shortest obstacle,
That's a good range.
A small wall at a foot and a half to a tall wall that's between 4 and 6 feet. So just depending on, age, height, all that stuff, they can choose whichever they feel. we do separate pricing for 5 and under if you have a really adventurous 5-year-old, but you're going to probably have to help them on some of the stuff.
Yep.
So we do a price decrease for 5 and under. And what's cool about it is we did do an individual price for a 15 and above or adults that, you know, if you're new to OCR or your kids are into something and you've never tried it, this is a chance to get out at a reasonable amount and try it out at something that's everyone can do together.
So the target audience here is really for families and for people who are relatively new to the scene rather than the crazy, multi-lappers and ultra beasters, right? Is my assumption.
Definitely.
Yep.
Definitely. I mean, your ultra beasters are going to run down on this 2-mile course. You know, they're going to find themselves, they'd be better volunteers for this than they would anything.
Sure.
Their knowledge and their experience is what makes, and shares the passion of OCR with other people.
Yeah.
So it's important, I guess, in that sense for me too, is that it's really important for me for the community to realize that this is an event that might not be the most intense, but it's a great opportunity to share experiences with other people, whether it's knowledge of obstacles or just experiences that motivates people to try that next thing. If they're new and they tried PursuEVENTures Family Farm Series and then maybe the Sprint Spartan is next for them, or, Savage Race is next for them, they would have a better idea of what's coming at them.
So I know a lot of these farms are already set up for pretty good family days out. Carter and Stevens has the food, the brewery, and all that kind of stuff going on. And I know Cowan Farms has their own things they do for families. Are these kind of, are these going to be the backdrop to the race series? Are families going to be able to go and hang out at the farms and do the farm experience, assuming the season and weather and stuff?
Definitely. Yeah. So, like we talked about last year at Carter and Stevens, the unfavorable weather. It was not that there wasn't snow. It was just it got hot fast. But we, with Callan Farms, it's the same thing. We're having Wachusett Brewery there.
Fantastic.
We'll have a truck there. Hot Drinks by Jackson and Effie Coffee Cabin. So it's an idea that if, you bundled up for the weather, you can hang out for the day and enjoy. There'll be sledding and, of course, skating if weather permits it. And the same thing with Carter and Stevens. As the year goes on and we progress into the summer, we try to choose a venue that offered something summertime, whether it would be, picks in the fall or something that they really wanted people to get there to see.
Now, something we've been working on as recently as this morning while we were getting ready to record the show is that the Race Local 2018 season is fast approaching. And just like this year, 2017, there's obviously going to be something for the kids. And I think it's probably a good point to let people know that this is going to be part of Race Local 2018. So if you are looking for some points, you're looking to bring your kids out to something, then the PursuEVENTures series is going to be perfect for those kids.
Absolutely. We're really looking forward to being a part of Race Local this year.
And then just because I know your first race being January 1st, which at the time of recording is, good God, only 3 weeks away, that's really hard to imagine, 3 weeks away from January 1st. So I imagine you guys are in full swing right now. If we don't have our stuff together for 2018's Race Local series and registration is just getting ramped up and the details aren't out, still go, because any race you run, just like in previous years, is retroactive. You can still log races you've already done before you signed up. So, go out there and take your kids and support a local business, and we'll absolutely honor those miles and those points and get the Race Local program up to date.
It's wonderful.
So what do you have on your calendar this next 3 weeks, other than Christmas and New Year's, to get ready for your event? How far into the planning and building and setup are you guys right now?
Is it fair to say that I've called off Christmas in my house?
Christmas is delayed.
I'm sorry for everyone. It's called off. We do have a tree up, but
good.
Yeah,
it's not decorated yet, and you're going to cut it down for an obstacle, right?
I'm not totally a Scrooge this year. We're definitely into the build process. What I've learned is the more you drag out a build process, the longer it seems.
Yeah.
So we've gotten it down. We've done all the pre-build. We've done all the pre-drilling. So we're going to just spend, a couple weekends putting together some nice stuff by the road. Because anyone who's not listening to this would like to know what's coming,
Sure.
And the more exposure we have, the more people we can bring in that maybe didn't know what was happening, with the signs, with the banners. So we'll have some stuff going. I would like to say that this is the most stress-free it's been. I'll be honest. We've done a good job of just putting it together, and you'll see it come together really well plenty before New Year's Day.
You just won't be doing Christmas.
I just won't be doing Christmas. No. I can't. I've already started saying Merry Christmas to people because I feel like it's tomorrow, because the faster it comes, the faster I know the event will be here and how much fun we're going to have doing it. So I just moved forward. I know, like the best of small businesses, it's a family affair. I think at the Carter and Stevens, you dragged your brother into it. Is that right? I did. Yes, I did.
Same thing again?
Yeah, so anyone who was in the brewery got to hear my brother and his amazing performance. Without a doubt, he was a nice part of that event that day. So we try to make it a family affair, and really it's nice because it's a tough time of year. I appreciate every little bit of, every share, every like, everyone that inquires about the event, because really we're asking a lot of people this time of year, but we're also, by the time New Year's Day hits, if you have kids and they've been inside for a week and a half,
they want out.
Right. You're going to thank me when you remember that there's an event that day that you can put your kids outside with a bunch of other kids and they're going to have a blast.
Well, I know there's a lot of people go off and do New Year's Day 5Ks, and at one point I used to drive all the way out to the coast and do a polar plunge, and I think an event like this that's more centrally based, there's a lot of people who'll be looking for something to do that day that they can bring the family to and possibly not get in the water.
Right. We'll drill a hole in the little pond if that's what it's going to take.
If anyone needs a polar plunge.
Yeah. I've got it all for you at all the venues. So you just, any request can be met. We just want everyone to have a good time. And 10 a.m., we're not asking anybody to get out of bed early. We're going to enjoy the sunshine that's out. And, because I know what it's like racing day of when you're up at 5 a.m. and I can't even imagine having to pack your kids up to try to get them to event
not
that
happening.
You're trying to do.
and a few of the adults will be a little sensitive that morning, I'm sure.
Yes, I'm sure. But don't worry, you could aid that with, Wachusett Brewery being there. Or if you need a nice hot coffee, we'll get you that too.
So I think we found your new sales pitch. It's bring the kids for an obstacle course and cure your hangover with some more beer.
That's right.
I like that.
We're thinking of...
Sorry, go on.
Oh, we're thinking of everybody when it comes to it. I know that, and we just want everyone to enjoy the day. And I think it's going to be a great opportunity to really see how far the company has come and see what we're trying to achieve in the next year.
And I think you're onto a winner with the idea of drill a hole in the ice and turn it into a polar plunge, because the kind of people listening to this podcast, that's right up their street.
That's true. I didn't even think of that, but I will not hesitate to bring an auger out for this event. So if there's some nice, Speedos or some shorts out there.
Oh God, don't encourage them.
Bring your dry robes. You guys are all set to go.
Don't encourage them. Someone is going to show up in a Speedo now.
I know. I'll purchase their first adult beverage hot if they do that.
You heard it here first. Go to the January 1st Pursue event in a Speedo. The first beer is on Lauren.
That's right. I have no problem with that. It's well worth my time.
I love it. So later on, so you've got January 1st is in what town was it? I know you said it. I'm just blanking on the name.
Oh, that's okay. It's in Lancaster. So
Lancaster.
It's right across from the Bolton Fairgrounds. So you'll probably hear me say it's in Bolton more than not, but it's technically in Lancaster, right on 117.
And then your Carter and Stevens is your second venue. What date is that?
It's on February 24th. So we're also locking into that early school vacation. We'll give you 5 days inside with your kids. Yep. And then you on the 6th day, on the 24th, if you really enjoy some outdoor time or not.
And do you have dates and venues in mind for the second two, or is those still up in the air?
So they're still up in the air. We do have ideas. We do have venues, and we've been in great talk with people. Again, it really just matters to me that the farm, it's best interest for the farm.
Yeah.
So we want to be careful of the crops. We want to be careful of what they've already established for themselves. And so we're trying to work hard to pick the dates that, along with work for them, work for our community. There are a lot of great local not local, but OCRs coming locally this year that we don't want to impede on either. So we're trying to pick carefully and hit all avenues with that.
Yeah, I'm going to venture that if you're talking to a venue, that the Spartan Race marketing budget is probably a bit bigger than yours. I'm going to venture a wild guess. So for a farm, if they've got a big race coming in, it's wise to steer clear of that date.
Right. And it's fair to steer clear for that for the people who are participating and helping us too. And we want people to continue. I want to continue to venture into the OCR stuff that I've missed out on for a little while. So that'll be good.
Awesome. So for people who are looking to get more info, to sign up for the January 1st event, where should they go?
They can go to PursueEVentures.org and they can look us up there. We are on Facebook as well. And as everything goes, they can always search me too. It'll lead them right to where they need to go. If they're listening to the podcast and they search Lauren Casavant, they'll find the links to all the stuff as well.
And we'll make sure that we put all that in the show notes.
Awesome.
Anything we missed, Lauren? Anything you want to get out there before we end this one?
No, I think that was great, Paul. I appreciate your time, and it's always nice to just kind of bounce the things that have been on paper to someone else and hear some nice feedback about it.
I'm excited to have you launch the 2018 Race Local program, and I certainly hope to have my kid at the January 1st event.
All right, I hope to see you guys there.
Thanks, Lauren.
Thanks, Paul.
Bye.
As always, guys, thanks so much for checking out the show. We'd love to hear what you think, so give us some feedback. Submit a question, share a story from one of your recent races or events. I think the show gets better and better with your participation, and it's not just Paul, Sandy, and myself talking. So to reach out, ask questions, suggest a topic, whatever it may be, follow along on Facebook. We've got a dedicated Any Spartans show page, or you can join the community at Any Spartans on Facebook as well. Twitter's your thing. Shoot us a tweet at Any Spartans. And if you want to find our full library of episodes, I'd recommend either iTunes or Stitcher. So again, for Paul, Sandy, myself, thanks so much for listening, and until next time.